Afternoon all. How are we all doing? All ready for the rate announcement? Very exciting. We just cleared the decks to the high side. We just had literally a huge candle just go in. Biggest candle of the day so far. It just pumped it right up really fast. 1 minute, just massive order dump went in long, which is now fading back down. So not quite sure whether they're running liquidity there or somebody knows something we don't and we should be going long. But who knows? I think short. But so yeah, we just ran the highs basically of the day. So anybody speculatively short on the day is now dead. So we'll see what happens. We've got 10 minutes until the announcement. So at the announcement, basically, we will probably get a little bit of whipsaw. So if we do push up, it depends on obviously what happens with rates. But if it pushes up, it's probably going to be a temporary run up. And then drop, I think, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to watch the DAX. Oops. And I'm also going to watch Euro Yen as well. So difficult to tell with the Euros what pair to trade at the moment. So Euro Yen's already hit its ADR low. If we look at all the euros, oops, let's have a look at the other chart, more sense. So of the euro pairs, euro yen's the only one that's hit ADR today, obviously along with all the other yen pairs, because the yen's just been massively strong today. So difficult to know which one to trade. Let's have a quick whiz through them all. See if there's any at decent levels. We've just broken out to the highs there on Euro Odd. Euro Swiss gap fill's done. We're back up to highs. So again, with these obvious liquidity run levels we're approaching for a little run and dump. Yeah, Euro Yen looks best to me. I mean, we've got a strong yen at the moment, so it makes sense if we are going to get weakness on the euro off the back of the rate announcement. It makes sense to power up with the yen because the yen's already strong. So this one's probably got the most legs in it if it comes down. But obviously the euro could just pump. We've no idea what's going to happen today. Like most of these, when we do these specials. 90% of the time we sit here and go, well, that was a load of crap, and nothing happens. So we'll see. Yeah, all setting up for short, so by the looks of things. So I'm going to turn Financial Juice on so we can listen to the announcement. I'll just turn the volume up, and then I'll turn Tick Strike down. So that doesn't deafen us. Where's Tick Strike gone? Okay, Windows has gone all funky on me. Whoa, that was weird. There we go. So I'm just going to turn Tick Strike down so it doesn't deafen us. So how's everybody's morning been? I've basically I think I've got 100% today so far. Excluding that euro yen, that wasn't a trade. That was demonstrating taking a trade with the thingy. So where are we today? What's the date? 9th. Oh no, I had that loser this morning, didn't I? So I've had 2 losers. Everything else has been winners today. So good morning so far. Bank take 20. So I'm going to keep the risk fairly low. So the plan for this on the DAX, what I want to do is try and scale in fairly fast on the DAX if we see price moving. So if we see this start to dump and then pull back a little bit, I'm looking for a short. I might just dump as soon as it starts going. I might just go straight in, but we'll see. Afternoon, Bruno. Anybody got any FX pairs they want to have a look at while we're waiting for Lagarde? Pan-Gen's got a nice extension today. 125, good reversal off that. And retest.
7:45 AM Eastern Time with the ECB interest rate. Forecast to no change, previous 0%. And the ECB deposit rate, forecast minus 0.5%, previous minus 0.5%, as well as the ECB monetary policy statement.
There you go. So we'll hear when it's announced. So as he was just saying there, basically, we've had no change for a long time. Back to 2016 was the last time we had a rate change, where they basically went from 0.5 back down to 0, or down to 0 for the first time. We've been at 0 ever since. So no plans basically for increases until July. So if this comes out as anything but 0, we will see some decent movement on this. So we will see. No other news this morning. Much. Bit of a quiet one today. Euro odd. Whoa, wrong one. Let's change that. Shush. Euro odd basically short. It's a short. So just had a reversal out on that. We're just having a little bit of a push up at the moment. It's not extended though anywhere, so it's just kind of sideways at the minute. We've just broken the highs. So if this is a wick off spring short, that's your spring. If it's a wick off spring long, that's your spring. And there's your accumulation for the break to the upside. So this looks like a lovely wick off long, but if I had a short bias on it, a long bias on it, but I've got a short bias on it, so. I would say anybody that's entered short over the last week has just been liquidated today, clearing decks for a move down. No hourly extensions. The 4 hours have all dropped off. A lot of these yens that we had on there obviously have all started to play out now. So. Stevie, DAX short please. Yes, that would be nice. I'm tempted to take a little starter position on it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait and see. Wait and see what happens. But I'm getting ready. So trading the news is obviously always risky because you get whipsawed a lot, especially if it's not as expected, but we may well get a whipsaw up and then back down. If we get a big strong push up which is sustained, we'll have an option then to fade it. So a bit like this, if we get a big strong push for 15-20 minutes, you've got an opportunity to fade it because you'll get a whacking great propulsion gap put in. Exactly what we had this morning and exactly what we traded this morning. Traded this short back down. Got out too soon, as always. So a little bit of buying starting to show on the US indices. All indices will be affected by this because obviously they'll be sitting there waiting to execute their orders when they know what the ECB is doing. So we should see a decent flurry of orders coming in across the board.
1 minute remaining. We're in the ECB interest rate first.
0.0, I would imagine. So 500 to the highs. Okay. I'll have a look at pound US dollar in a minute. I'm not gonna. Got 26 seconds till the news, so. Euro yen's already gone. Didn't wait.
Seconds. No change, no change. Rate remains unchanged at 0%, in line with the forecast of no change. ECB deposit rate minus 0.5%, minus 0.5%. That's in line with the forecast of minus 0.5%.
DAX very, very slow to react. Yen's gone, Euro's gone faster.
ECB says high inflation is a major challenge for all of us, and says the ECB will make sure that inflation...
Okay, DAX is going long, stopped out on that position.
Medium term. ECB says in May inflation again rose significantly, and mainly because of
spread's too high on this.
And food prices, including due to the impact of war. Says that inflation pressures have broadened and intensified, with prices for many goods and services increasing strongly. ECB says these projections indicate that inflation will remain undesirably elevated for some time. ECB says, however, the moderating energy costs and easing of supply disruptions related to the pandemic and normalisation of monetary policy are expected to lead to a decline in inflation. And ECB says...
Oh, look at the spread, can't trade it. Look at the spread on it, it's huge.
Average of 3.3% in 2022, 2.8% in 2023 and 2.3% in 2024, also above March projections. The ECB says this means that headline inflation at the end of the projection horizon is projected to be slightly above the ECB's target.
Okay, short one.
ECB says new staff projections foresee annual inflation at 6.8% in 2022, before it is projected to decline to 3.5% in 2023
Sell stop under the low.
And 2.1% in 2024, higher than in March projections. ECB says Russia's unjustified aggression towards Ukraine continues to weigh on the economy in Europe and beyond, and says these factors will continue to weigh on confidence and dampen growth, and especially in the near term. The ECB says, however, conditions are in place for the economy to continue to grow on the account of ongoing reopening of the economy, a strong labour market and fiscal support and savings built up during the pandemic. The ECB says it is disrupting trade and is leading to sources of materials and is contributing to high energy and commodity prices. The ECB says once current headwinds abate, economic activity is expected to pick up again. ECB says on the basis of its updated assessments, the ECB decided to take further steps in normalising its monetary policy. And so compared with March projections, outlook has been revised down significantly for 2022 and 2023, while for 2024 it has been revised up. Says this outlook is broadly reflected in the Eurosystem staff projections.
Short second. Slipped. Look at the slippage on that.
Growth at 2.8% in 2022, 2.1% in 2023 and 2.1% in 2024. The ECB says throughout this process the ECB will maintain optionality, data dependence and gradualism and flexibility in conduct of monetary policy, saying the ECB intends to continue reinvesting in full and principal payments from maturing securities purchased under the APP for an extended period of time past dates when it starts raising interest rates and in any case for as long as necessary to maintain AM.
See if we get a sustained sell on this.
Says in the event of renewed market fragmentation raised to the pandemic and PPP reinvestments can be adjusted flexibly across time, asset classes and jurisdictions at any time. The ECB says in any case future roll-offs of PPP portfolio will be managed to avoid interference with appropriate monetary policy stance, saying as concerns pandemic emergency purchase program PPP, ECB intends to reinvest principal payments from maturing securities purchased under the program until at least end of 2024. ECB says APP and pandemic emergency purchase program The ECB
Closing one. We're not going very fast here.
Under its ADP as of the 1st of July 2022.
Just getting ready to close the second one out.
ECB says net purchases under PEPP could also be resumed if necessary to counter negative shocks related to the pandemic. The ECB says ECB undertook a careful review of conditions which, according to its forward guidance, should be satisfied before it starts raising interest rates. The ECB says accordingly, and in line with the ECB's policy sequencing, the ECB intends to raise interest rates by 25 basis points at its July monetary policy meeting. ECB says
pushing my TP down.
Decided to leave the interest rates on main refinancing operations.
We're either going to reject, if we hit these lows, we're either going to bounce quite hard or we're going to slam through them. If we slam through them, I want to make sure my TP is far away.
0.5% respectively.
So just pushed it a bit further down. I'm just getting ready to close this out.
If medium-term inflation outlook persists or deteriorates, a larger increment will be appropriate at the September meeting. The ECB says the calibration of this rate increase will depend on the updated medium-term inflation outlook, and says looking further ahead, the ECB expects to raise interest rates again in September. ECB says beyond September, based on its current assessments, the ECB anticipates that its gradual but sustained path of further increases in interest rates will be appropriate.
Stop under the low.
Commitment to its 2% medium-term target. Pace at which the ECB adjusts its monetary policy will depend on the incoming data and how it assesses inflation to develop in the medium term.
Just a whipsaw.
The pandemic has shown that under stress conditions,
Run out of sellers.
flexibility in design and conduct of asset purchases have helped to counter impaired transmission of monetary policy and made ECB's efforts to achieve its goal more effective.
I'm just watching this for a wick test here.
Special conditions applicable
See if we get a rejection off of that.
3 will end on the 23rd of June 2022. Says the ECB will also regularly assess how targeted lending operations are contributing to its monetary policy stance.
Blah blah blah. He does go on. Not really interested. I was hoping for a bit more of a continuation off of this. We haven't got any continuation off of it, so I'm closing it. I'm going to cancel that pending. That didn't really do anything, just a whipsaw. Basically rates as expected, so I was hoping we were going to get some sustained selling off the back of that, but we didn't. So as expected again, so we're looking at July for the next increase, potentially. That's when they've said they're going to schedule in the next one, but that obviously can change, so that's a shame. It's a little bit more bearish. When they cleaned these highs out before it went, I was expecting a short. Unfortunately, I got stopped out on that initial position, and we didn't get any continuation follow through. I was watching the euro pairs because typically you get the inverse happen on the index to what is happening with the euro. So that is pushing now actually. So we may well get a move down starting. 1:30 in 50 minutes. We've got the press conference. So everything you just heard him waffling on about there is going to be discussed by Lagarde in the press conference. So we'll get some more questions which might affect market stance at the moment, but yeah, didn't really grab anything out of that. Made a little bit of a loss on it. Only $100, so it's not the end of the world. But but we've just put a whacking great bearish candle in. So just going to watch this next 5-minute candle. And just see what we do. I was hoping we were going to get this, either a big push and hold the highs, and then as soon as we see some bearish price action coming in, just fade it all the way back down. But all we got today was just literally whipsaw, which happens, but difficult to trade it. So, what does that mean for the DAX? So we've cleared the highs. The DAX has basically got multiple directions it can go in now. We've got these levels down here to look at. So these lows which we identified this morning, potentially we can come down and try and test these this afternoon. Alternatively, obviously we can push back up into resistance and retest those. So the state of that candle says to me we've got more selling pressure, and obviously we've just got another bearish wick. Should have held that position, but it's not really moving, is it? So looks like we want to head down this afternoon, initially down to these lows, but obviously bear in mind we've got the press conference. So 1:30 when Lagarde starts speaking, we'll get some more volatility coming in, some decent selling coming on the DAX and the S&P, and the Nasdaq rather. Could go short one. DAX tends to follow these two if they get some decent selling coming in. It's whether or not this gets sustained on these indices now. If it does, then we should get a push down to the lows. I want to see this continue though, rather than stopping. Turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, so challenging these lows on the hourly is the next stop. We're either going to go into rotation ahead of the press conference, or we may well start a move down. Either way, we're going to get some volatility around the press conference. So if we can ride this down to these lows, I'll probably break even this. And then just try and hold it and see if we can get a decent drop off of the press conference. Let's have a quick look at pound US dollar while we're waiting. So pound US dollar basically is bearish. We should be looking. I've got this marked up better on my other platform actually. It's just. So we've got a control candle in place on the pound US dollar at the moment. This one here. So we're just inside bars at the minute. So basically you're rattling around inside bar and you're bang in the middle of the range at the moment. So you've got a 50-50 shot. Hit buy or hit sell. It's going to go one of those two ways. There's no way of telling where it's going at the moment. Pound is weak. US dollar still hasn't strengthened up. I'm looking for a continuation drop on this. So get in short anywhere in here. Stop above the high of this candle. Or if you want to be super safe, stop above that high and target the lows. Look for reversal alerts if you want confirmation on M5 or M15. But yeah, you're just sideways at the minute. Just approaching the lows. No, we're not. Sorry. Wasn't zoomed out enough on my other monitor. I was looking at these lows, thinking we were approaching the lows. We're not. We got into slow coach mode again. We've certainly run out of sellers at the moment. Now we've got buyers coming through. I'm getting out. I don't like it. If you think about what we've got here in this last 15 minutes, yeah, we pushed up and we've been doing nothing but selling from 144.15 all the way down there. We've been doing nothing but selling all the way down to here. Anybody that's in this still is going to want to get out, and we've got no more sellers entering the market, so it's more likely we're just going to trickle ourselves back up into this area up here. So I think that's dead now. Yes, anyway, well, that was ECB. Another another damp squid. We do get a lot of them, but so my plan for this afternoon, 12:30 I'll be watching the ECB press conference. Well, I won't be watching it, I'll be watching the market while the ECB press conference is on, just to see where they take it. I'm not going to trade the press conference, because the press conferences, all press conferences for any central bank are wild. So it all depends on what is being answered and what questions are being asked. So you'll get one answer which will go, the market will love, and then you'll get another answer which the market will hate. So you just get this whippy action. So, you know, this is where things like Tick Strike and Boocamp. Boocamp? Yeah, Boocamp. Sorry, I was trying to, my brain's still foggy today. Coming to their own. Because if you see the market spike, and you see continuous buying coming in on here, you get in until you see this stop, and then you get out. So this is what this is really useful for. Things like the press conferences, you're going to find certain answers are going to promote large orders, other answers are going to promote dumps. So going down a little bit more. Looks like we might get down there. No sustained selling though, so difficult. So I'm going to be watching the market for that. Probably won't trade it. This afternoon I should be trading Nasdaq at the open. So Nas, we've had a decent push up so far this morning. If we look at it on the daily, look at the US indices on the daily. Again, we're still within this kind of range. It's a really odd range we're in. We've got the high of this close here, and then these wicks all respecting that. We've got this low being respected 4 times, and the wicks are all uneven below it. So we've got this really weird kind of uneven range that we're sitting in at the moment, waiting for potentially next leg down. The last 3 days we've tried to push higher, rejected every time. I've got my little alert set up here, as you can see, because I was wanting us to get up to this level so that I could short that level. We haven't managed to get anywhere near it. So I'm looking this afternoon. We've already done our push today. Nice push up, which is now undoing itself, exactly the same as the DAX is. This is going to follow the DAX at the moment because obviously the New York Stock Exchange is closed. So I'm looking basically for that next breakdown, some kind of, you know, sell-off, but want to get into it obviously nicely rather than trying to jump in on a short like this. So at the open, what I'm looking for today is any kind of push up and then rejection to start jumping into shorts. So I'm going to try and short this afternoon, unless the market obviously says otherwise, but that's the plan. The way this is going at the moment, we're probably going to go green to red before the market open today. We haven't got far to go before we turn red. And that will give obviously the market a little bit more of a negative sentiment as well. So be looking for shorts. News-wise tomorrow, we've got unemployment for the CAD and we've got CPI for the US dollar. CPI does a lot of damage, obviously. So we have got something that's going to move the US markets tomorrow. So at the minute, we are literally just sitting in this holding pattern on all the US indices waiting for something to happen, which we haven't got. So I'm looking shorts. DAX, we're down at lows again. Look. This low here that we put in today is the lowest we've been for ages, well, for over a week. So this low here is where we're currently sitting. If we're going to stay sideways on the indices at the minute, this is where we want to be buying it from right now, with a view to coming back up into there. Same goes for the US indices. You know, we don't know whether we're going to get this break. We're going to get it at some point. I just don't know when. So we're waiting, aren't we? Tricky one to call today because we've had no. You know, the DAX has been as I was expecting it to be, a nightmare all day. But yes. Anybody got any other things I want to look at? Afternoon Neo, if I haven't said afternoon already. This is only a special for the ECB, so lovely rejection on these lows. If we hadn't spiked up on this candle and filled that gap there, I'd be buying this now. But it'd be very efficiently traded down to this level, so very difficult to tell where we're going from now. I'm going to wait for a breakout of some shape or form or some solid sign of reversal this afternoon. So if we can get a push back up, open higher. If we came up and took this high out today, that would be spectacular. If we hit this high today on the NAS, I should be shorting that. I don't think we're getting anywhere near it, but I think we're just going to come and return to origin and start with a doji, which means we ain't got a clue. Okay, so that's it for that one. Bit of a rubbish one. Nothing much happened off of that. Next week we've got the normal US rate FOMC next week. So we've got an expected half point increase coming. We've got retail sales. So next week's a really big one. We've got PPI as well. So it's going to be a good one on next week. All next week. We've got SMB rate as well, which hopefully will shake the Swissy up a little bit more. And then we've got the pound rate announcement as well. So next week is all guns blazing. So this is kind of why we're sitting here at the moment. The next week, this week and next week, is deciding the fate of inflation. So as soon as we've got all this out of the way, we'll get some decent movement and decent trends starting again, hopefully. But for the minute, sell the highs, buy the lows. Jesse Liverless. Why are you sad? Don't be sad. Didn't Jesse Livermore die? I can't remember. Got a feeling it wasn't very nice either. can't remember. I won't look it up. But you're Jesse Liverless, obviously not Livermore. Famous trader, in case you didn't know. Look him up. Obviously you know who he is because you've named yourself after him. Nice double bottom going in on the NAS at the moment. We've got tweezer bottoms going in, possibly on the DAX as well. 3 minutes left on this candle. Solid rejection down here for a buy. Back up into this chop. Just if you want to, just a short buy up into there. Stop under the lows jobby, this one. I like this. He dyed it himself. Yeah, I thought he did. Going long. I think he shot himself. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I seem to remember it was something nasty. Probably blew an account. Oh, come on. This is why you wait for candle close, guys. I just got in way too early on this. That was stupid. So I'm just trying a long off of this rejection. We've got no buyers, but we've also got no sellers. So at the moment we know there's more buyers than sellers in the market because this is dead. And we're rejecting lows constantly. So we've got more buyers sitting here at the minute. We're just waiting to see if we get any big guns come in to try and push us back up into the range. A little bit worried about wanting to retest these lows. That would be the better trade, retesting the lows. Yeah, I'm going to get stopped out on this. This is why you wait for candle close. This looked beautiful when I took that trade, didn't it? Now look at it. Still got a minute left and it's a bearish candle. Shouldn't be in this at all. Stupid trade that was. I'm blaming it on my cold. Yeah, I'm going to stop out on that. Or we might tweeze the bottom and go, which would be even better. We'll see. This is the one I want to see a decent reaction at. So I'm going to watch this anyway. If we do push down to here, I should be watching for a long there, just back up into here. Nothing dramatic. Which is going to have to pay for this one if this one goes wrong. Okay, so you'll find the outcome of that in the Signal group, if you're in there. So I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50. Be aware, obviously, in 20 minutes odd, we've got the press conference. So get ready for some volatility around that. If you've got any euro trades on, probably get that. When that's over, that is when we tend to get the dump. I've stopped out. That's when we tend to get the dump when that's done, the press conference, because as soon as Lagarde's spoken, the market's basically ready to start trading again. So after that, we should get some decent movement, and hopefully this afternoon it'll all liven up a little bit. Could get a really nice trend day this afternoon, so we'll wait and see. Okay, I'll be back. Oh, it missed me, look. Just missed me. Let's see if we can make this the low. That'd be nice. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. We'll do the normal analysis, trade the DAX again. Account at the moment is up to 5k. I'm 3k short of target. I'm 5/8 of the way there, if you want to put it that way. So I'm hoping to get this hit Monday, Tuesday next week, assuming it all goes to plan. And I don't take any stupid trades like that one. So yeah, hopefully we'll make some progress on that tomorrow morning, trading the DAX. All right, have a good one. I'll be in the Telegram group if you need me, and I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Usual stuff. Have a good one.